Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode number 4. I'm your host, Mark Anderson, with the Reptile Shed podcast on the Show Me Reptile Network. Super excited about today's episode. Let's see. Episode number 4, like I stated. And today we have a special, very guest on. And before I get to that guest, our sponsors, or I guess my sponsor, Show Me Reptile Super Show. They're the largest show coast to coast. And they're having shows come to Oregon, which is super impressive because it'll be the first shows over here. All right, back to today's guest. So today we have very special guest, Lady Tis Exotics. She's a 35-year-old reptile keeper, a breeder, and a woman who exudes passion behind the animals she keeps. I know her favorite animals are retics, for sure, and we'll talk about that a lot in this episode, especially the animal behavior aspect of things. She also breeds ball pythons, boas, in the near future here. So we're going to be talking about that as well. And all right.
What an amazing video.
Wasn't that awesome?
Yeah. But before we go any further, Mark said that I was a 35-year-old reptile keeper. I am 51 years old. I've been keeping for 35 years. I don't want nobody thinking I'm lying about my age because I don't never do it. I ain't tell Mark I was 35, y'all.
35-year reptile keeper. Too much energy drink. I'm talking so fast.
Yes, the video was dope. I would like a cut and a copy of that if you don't mind.
That was amazing. We'll definitely send it over to you for sure. How are you doing today?
I am amazing. I'm amazing most days.
That's awesome. And then, okay, so for the audience that doesn't know you, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself other than what I said?
Absolutely. Pretty much covered it, but I am Nikki. Some people call me Lady T. A lot of people in the reptile community call me Lady T, Lady Tis Exotics. Like Mark said, I am a 35-year reptile keeper. I kept ball pythons for many years. That was my first as an adult, let's say that, because I'll get into later the type of crazy stuff I used to do when I was younger. But my first ball python as an adult was purchased in 1991.
Wow. That's awesome.
It was when the reptile community was so chill. People had a good time keeping reptiles, even illegitimately back then. But the reptiles still thrive for the most part. But no, those were the good old days. Right now, I have bred my second clutch of reticulated pythons, which that is my absolute favorite reptile to keep for sure. Next, that and the Asian water monitor, but that's two separate lanes, right? Out of snakes. And if I had to choose, if the Lord said you only could keep one, it would be reticulated python. So I can say that the retic is my favorite, but I love my water monitor too. And I also breed ball pythons. And I do more of the ball pythons. I don't sell a lot of them as much as I do the retics. Obviously, I can't keep 60 something snakes in my house at any given. Well, take that back. I have way more than that in my house, but as babies, reticulated pythons, that would be just like too much for me. And I know other people do it, but I do pride myself on, from the moment that the animal I sell comes out the egg, they know me. They know they're human. So I touch them as soon as they peek out. After they take that first breath and they actually do what I call engage with you. So, they come out the egg, they take that breath, but then they also come towards you. That moment is when I touch those babies. And so I pride myself in, baby, to say, when I sell anybody a reticulated python baby, you're going to get a baby that you should be able to handle. And I say should be because if you change anything that I ever done, I don't, or husbandry, I always recommend husbandry. When I send the animal, I give you a husbandry card that I recommend because it just seems to make the animal as a baby happier. And I give you that information, and you should have a happy baby that grows into a happy adult, just like its parents.
That's amazing. And what kind of retics have you produced so far?
Oh, wow. So, mom is a powerhouse. So I wanted my very first reticulated python. I wanted a golden child, but I fell in love with the Motley golden child Sunfire specifically. And my retic mentor back then, Randy Wright, shout out Randy Wright. I will shout out Randy Wright too. I can't shout him out anymore. I met Randy in a whole nother reptile group at the time that I said, I love those animals, but I would never keep one. That's what I used to say about retics all the time. There's no way I would keep those big ass snakes. I used to say that. I love them. I love them. I love them. And I studied them for years, those in Burmese, because I thought Burms would be my first, but it wasn't. I got a retic first. And that's mom, which was a Motley golden child Sunfire, and she's het for white face albino. And I bred her to a Machino Motley, who was het white face albino or mocha.
Wow.
And that first clutch was amazing. All I wanted was to create super motleys. And in that first clutch, a third of that clutch was super motleys. And I was just absolutely excited about that. But it also produced, which if you see any of my show material, there's a beautiful white phase albino on there. That was the very first white phase albino that I produced. And as a person who loved Bob Clark, I mean, y'all can say what you want about the vets, okay? I don't agree with everything that anybody does. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the vets of the animals I keep, those, because I am 51, about to turn 52 in 11 days, those are the people who taught me everything that I know to date, as to keep, how to breed, and what genetics I wanted to work with reticulated python. So outside of the ocelot, there is no other genetic that I will want that I don't already have in my house. And even with the ocelot, I don't have no intentions on breeding that, right? It's just a beautiful snake.
Okay.
Just want that to, like the cow. When I first got the golden child cow, I never intended on breeding her. I just wanted the snake, okay? But now I do want her to breed, but she will not let, and she's the crazy thing, she is definitely ready. She's in heat, but she won't let none of the males touch her. None of the males I want to touch her. But yeah, so it's just, I think that for me and everything that I'm doing right now, which I've been really busy these last few weeks, so anybody forgive me. My customers have been my number one priority in making sure that these babies are ready for those people who, fortunately for me, so one of the biggest things when you think you're going to get into, especially the reticulated python community, Mark, was how would you fit into that at that particular time, very male dominant community that was breeding. And outside of that, I didn't know any Black woman who was breeding reticulated pythons. So it was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. My mind was made up. I am very fortunate to have forge relationships with people who can help me from, I didn't need a lot of the breeding assistance, although I wish there was some information on YouTube, and that's why I started to put some of that information out there. But genetically, when you talk about mom, she produces babies that are nothing alike. I literally in this clutch, I got a baby that she didn't produce the first time. I have a beautiful, and I'm gonna show everybody after the second shed, super motley golden child.
Wow.
And it is just incredible. Who is also, of course, had white face albino or mocha. I didn't know what it was because mom produced, I thought, every series of an animal that she could produce her very first clutch. Oh no, that was more. This time she produced a beautiful Mochino Motley golden child Sunfire. that she
Wow.
didn't produce. And I think I have two of those, right? So when you say what have I produced, anywhere from Super Motley, from Golden Child Sunfires to White Phase, Golden Child, White Phase Albino, Golden Child Sunfire, it's just so much. It's like every time I think that she can't produce anything else. And it's the crazy thing is I said I wasn't going to breed her again after this. And then I'm like, well, do I want to? Because she wasn't done surprising me. But I probably, if I do, wait about a couple years.
Okay. And what are holdbacks you have right now from your two clutches?
So the very first clutch, I held back she produced one normal, and I love normal, just like the normal berm. We can produce all the daggone morphs we want. It's nothing like a normal, especially when it has the head albino influence in it. So I kept that one. She's a female. I also kept back a Mochino Sunfire female. And then from this clutch, I'm keeping both of the Mochino combos. I can't let them go. I'm definitely probably going to keep it back, this Super Motley Golden Child, because she's beautiful. Mom, I thought is beautiful. Mom is a gorgeous, beautiful animal, but this animal is got cold black eyes, and the way she looks at me, she says, "Keep me." She keeps me. So I'm going to keep that one. But outside of those three, everything else will be. I don't post everything on Morph Market. I post some on Morph Market, but I do post everything on my ladytiz.com, and that's obvious. I'm promoting my own brand, my own sites for sales and stuff like that. Morph Market, I appreciate it. Definitely drives traffic to me, but my reticulated python traffic, gratefully, is a group core of people who I absolutely adore. Some of them are repeat customers, and I don't have to tap into anybody else's lane, right? So I always say, I said this to Dex before, who D&T Retic, shout out to them.
I love them on Facebook.
That's the Taylor, when I had my first clutch, that was the very first question I had in breeding, was about something that was happening at the eggs towards the end that was different from ball pythons. And I was able to reach out to her, and she replied right away. And shout out to D&T Retics. But
I have a Sunfire Lavender het albino, I believe, from them. That came from one of my friends.
So me and Dex talk shit back and forth all the time. So I was just saying to him that the one thing I don't do, you'll never see me post my animals for sale in Retic's Pursuit. That's the brand that they created, their page, Retic Nation, anything like that. I like
all those,
stuff on Morph Market and also on my personal website, right? And I pride myself in that because it keeps you out of all of the cattiness that goes on. Like, I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes. Anybody who comes and find me on Morph Market, they found me because they searched and they like the animal, not because, or they, sometimes my return customers, they know that I'm going to be producing and they'll come back. But for the most part, anybody new customers that I pick up, or I pick them up at a show, which shout out. I don't know if it's appropriate, but it shouldn't be a conflict.
Do it.
Okay, so Gettysburg Reptile Show, y'all, July 19th. So that is the show for me and the breeders in this Northeast.
Perfect. Yeah.
Shout out to Joe and his wife Gina. They are so incredible as promoters. And I just want to say to everybody, if you're looking for a show that is not, because sometimes some of the shows out west are too far, or Tinley are too far. I know we travel to all of them, but everybody can't travel to all of them. The best you're going to get next to that, if you're in that Northern Virginia, DMV, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New York area, is Gettysburg. So come out July 19th. I've been that show every single time. It is the two shows that I'm going to vend, period. I don't care if I don't vend anything else. I'm going to vend those shows because I love how they treat the vendors, number one, how they do special things for the customers as well. And it's the best we're going to get compared to the bigger shows like the Show Me's and the Tinleys and stuff like that. So thank you. Yes,
100%.
Incredible show. It's an incredible, and I wanted to see it get bigger on a sense of, how we travel to all the other shows, like the Southeast Reptile Show is a really nice show, right? And we travel to those shows. I want to see people come traveling because this is the area no one travels to.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, the Maryland area, a lot of the old vets of ball pythons and stuff like that, even Ralph Davis, they were in these areas. and no one has a national show. And I think the best thing that we have to it is Gettysburg, which functions on that level. I would love to see more of our national vendors and customers there.
Yes, yes, and all the collaboration. It's amazing.
Yes, yep, absolutely. And Snakes and the Fat Man is going to be there on the 19th, and he's actually going to be like doing the podcasting there from this time. He has come to the last three, and it's and you know he's very honest.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
He'll tell you it's a really good show.
That's amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to start traveling all back east because I'm on the West Coast, so I can't wait to just go all the shows on the East Coast.
Oh,
I've never been to any of them whatsoever.
y'all have amazing shows out in the West Coast.
I'm so excited. Okay, so we're kind of getting off track. Now back to
Yep.
retics for a second before I
Yep.
lose my train of thought. Now you specifically, you have the retics. You were talking about socialization and all that stuff from the egg. Now
Yep.
you go a bit and beyond, like you go way farther than that with the animal behavior aspect of things. So
Absolutely.
with your adult snakes, how do you do the animal behavior and what do you do for training and that kind of stuff?
Well, remember my adult snakes I raised up. So I never buy like how you do, how you take in animals. I will never do that. Right.
I'm very picky, but yes.
Right. No, I'm just saying, like, but you know, you'll take in larger animals. My animals are all raised up. And the reason for that is because I breed them, right? So I'd like to know the history of that animal. So one of the, and that's key for me because I can tell you, I can look at a baby and tell you, oh, that has mom's personality, that has dad personality. It's crazy, insane. I can do it. Just give me a week. I can tell you which one of their parents they are, right? But mom and dad I raised up. I got them from Jim Jolly. My first 6 retics was from Jim Jolly. And that's because my first experience was with mom, and she was incredible. She was nothing like anything anybody said a baby reticulated python would be. And so I was stuck with him. And that was it. So what I've done is when raising up mom, I talked about my mentor. Randy had this incredible relationship with his retics, kind of like how Kevin McCurley did. And I wanted to take it to another level. I wanted to not just test their behavior, but test their mindset to a whole nother degree. Like, can you follow me like a dog, right? The stuff that people say that they would never do, they do. Okay, I have retics here. I have a video and I posted on Instagram of the Motley Golden Child Sunfire. It's about 3 years ago. Her coming out her enclosure, which, you know, a lot of people are starting to see that now. And I see a lot of people doing that now where they'll let the animal come out on their own and go back in on their own, right? That wasn't as typical until I think I'm proud of the retic community. The last 5 years, we've all been showing these animals are not big, mean eating machines. They are very intelligent, loving, adorable animals if you treat them as such. So, I started to test to see the following. So I have retics that follow me, and I put that on Instagram, and I show it in real live time. When I turn that camera off, I don't know what y'all going to see. That's why you see me turning the lock. You see me taking the lock off, taking the door off. I could very well record a retic one day, decide I don't love her no more, and coming out and just ramping me up. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just have faith that it would never happen because of relationships we have. But I literally let them use their mind in a free world. And this world is this house, right? I don't let them just randomly roam outside. If I ever take one outside, it's in my backyard. I'm not a fan of taking these large constrictors to parks. And for reason being, unless you're doing something educational, I do take them to like school settings, outdoors, educationally. But I'm talking about just taking them out where random children are on playgrounds and stuff like that. I don't care what we say and how much we love these animals. They are intimidating to somebody who don't know them like we do, right?
Yeah.
That's a big ass snake. I don't care what y'all say. I don't want my kids around it type of thing. And I think that we improve how people think about them when we are conscious about stuff like that. When we have big festivals here, I like to show people I can take this animal. It can be hundreds of people around. As long as you don't do anything that's going to agitate this animal will be absolutely fine. So they're like any other pet. So yes, I've taken that to that level. Some of the things I do is the things they say you shouldn't do. Don't get in an enclosure. I get in all of the enclosures with all of my large retics, but I also invaded that space when they were babies. So it's not like I waited until they got 10 foot and said, let me get into an enclosure. I always had my hands moving around while I'm cleaning whatever in their face while they were in their smaller enclosures. So they were used to that person, that body. And once they got into the bigger enclosures, if I had to clean, I started to do things. And let me just explain. Anything that I did or I tested, my son, who is actually mentally delayed, and I'm very open about that, is my assistance. So that tells you like these animals aren't as hard to deal with as people make them to be if
That's
you
amazing.
handle them correctly. Exactly. So I'll say, Michael, I'm gonna get an enclosure. You keep an eye on this snake and tell me what it's doing. Who else to trust other than my son? Because if the snake make one wrong move, when I'm gonna tell you when my son becomes a very strong man, is when it's about his mama. I have seen it in the grocery store, and I have seen it when it comes to his assistance with these animals. He's going to be in tune. And one of the advantages of kids with special needs, their brain, when they're focused, they're focused. If it's something they want to focus on or they enjoy, it's a focus. And that's the thing for him, the snakes. So Michael watched it the first time and the snake didn't move, didn't budge, turned around and watched me clean. That's all it did. And from that point on, once I can establish I can do it, I continue to do it. I don't stop doing it. Every time that I do it, I get in the enclosure. Now, only time I won't do it is sometimes y'all know retics can make a nasty cage. I can't do that. I'm not that girl. I can't.
Nope.
I
Nasty
cannot.
cage. And speaking of that, I want to transition over to water monitors for a second. And you said those were your second favorite animal?
Yes, I love my Asian water. Larry is like my best friend.
Okay.
Literally. And up until recently, I would get in the water with Larry. It was when he got older that I did not, but we literally invasion of the space that I talk about. My thing has always been, what do you do in a case of emergency? I don't want my water monitor to feel like I can't get in his water. I mean, I don't want to get into it for sanitation reasons as the age he is now. Now, don't get me wrong. If you test the water, and anyone can try me on this, if you have a filtered system on your water monitor enclosures, dipstick your water monitor enclosure, and then go to your local beach shore or whatever and dipstick that. Your water monitor enclosure is cleaner. The water is cleaner than the water that you will go swim with in the beach.
I bet.
I've done it. So it's all a mindset, right? I just don't want to get in it because I know he pooping in. You know what I mean? Like
Water monitor poop. Oh.
But it filters, and like I said, when you test the water, cleaner than the water that we take the kids to go swim in. But that was one of the things I did to him. With him, we took him from the small enclosure to that big old enclosure that my husband built, which is like a whole house for him, in the garage. So the garage is technically converted to a water monitor's house.
Sweet. We're gonna do another episode about that one.
Yes. So we go in there, and he's very, very sweet to me. Larry is not sweet to everybody, and I'll tell any like things he's familiar with, people he's familiar with. My husband, he's not going to engage with my husband, like come to him. But when my husband goes to his enclosure, he knows it's my husband, so I'm not going to be intimidating to him. But if you came in there, Mark, Larry very much is going to puff up and like you don't belong here. We tested that with my nephew, and it's so funny because I don't never get to see him like that. So it's cool to see that. Okay, you are a water monitor, right? Like. You can be a little protective, but so I just like to see. I believe that we're not the smartest creatures on earth. I always said that because we can't survive what these animals would survive. Like if it was a hurricane right now, I can guarantee you half of these retics would survive it.
Yep.
We probably would not.
100%.
I like to play with their brains in that way.
Do you have any plans with the water monitor breeding or anything like that?
No, because. And I'll tell because I bred my tegus, and my tegu, the female died egg bound. And this female was very special to me. She was, so you remember Jesse's Jungle, his tegus were stolen.
Okay.
His Sky Panther was stolen. And Layla was the mom of my tegus. So I used to always say that once she produced, I was going to send him a female Tego in honor of Layla. And so when she died, I still have her in the freezer. I can't part with her. My heart was so broken. And I feel like the reason why she died is just because I didn't know enough about breeding lizards. Like, down to, and my husband said that's not the case, but that's how I feel, because I can promise you, if when it's something wrong with a snake, I can point it out right away. I didn't see no signs of this in her, and the only reason why I know is that you can literally feel when when you picked her up in her deceased mode, you can feel the eggs. And I said, I went to school for mortuary science, so she's still in the freezer, because I do think that once I get enough heart, I do want to dissect her. I want to see what happened, you know what I mean, what it looks like from an internal inside. And so that's the part of me people don't know. When I owned birds in 1991, I had parakeets. When my animals would die, my best friend, if she was on here right now, I autopsied everything that I own.
You're so awesome.
Everything.
I never knew that. That's so cool.
Yes. So
That's
she
smart.
would joke to this day. It's been a million days. She came home and it's a bird cut up in the middle of the. She was like, "Y'all don't understand how much she loved animals. Like, I have to know the why."
I have to know why. I'm smart. I never even thought to do that.
Yeah.
I usually just get them like taxidermied or wet specimen, or anybody wants to scalp it.
You still can. So you can literally autopsy the animal and just like a human and close it back up and still get it taxidermed.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That's smart.
Yep.
Huh. All right. Before we get too much farther into this, I do have a special guest that wants to come on, and it's the general. Yeah, he's totally itching to come on.
Steve!
Now let's see if this service isn't so choppy. It was a little choppy earlier, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and if he's not on, I also have. Yeah, I have the conductor that wants to come on too and ask you some questions as well.
Okay.
Uh-oh. We can't hear you. Can't hear you. More technical difficulties.
Right. I can't help you with
that. Between Steve and the conductor. Still can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear us.
Yes, Sean. Water monitors are amazing.
Oh yeah, I love Sean. Yeah, he's part of the team too, and I love watching all of his stuff. I don't know if you know him or not.
Oh, do I know him? Sean is like a brother to me. Let me tell you, I met Sean in a group that we used to be in, and before he even moved to Texas, and we're from the same area. So Sean is the only person who's ever been in my reptile rooms.
What? That's amazing.
I don't let people in my house. I don't. And let me explain. Few reasons. You don't know how other reptile keepers keep, right? So just to let random people in, they could be bringing anything in here. And I have a lot of animals to worry about. Sean is the only person who's ever been in here from the reptile community, not my family, but you know what I mean? Like, I was in the reptile community.
Nice. That's awesome. And then, Dre too. I have Dre coming on in a podcast on the 22nd.
So Dre is my brother, but he's never been to my house.
Oh.
We hung out in other parts. Like, he's hung out in Daytona with us. He hung out we went to not Gettysburg. The one that used to be in Pennsylvania. Oh my God, Hamburg. He came to town in Hamburg. But yeah, Dre has never been here. And that's probably the person outside of Keys Constrictors, like in Wiz and them, who's probably the closest to me in the reptile community.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have him on soon. So yeah, and I see you guys on the internet. I saw you on the Retic Lounge as well. I listened to that podcast. That was so much information on there. It was amazing.
Yeah. I absolutely adore them. So that was definitely it's always an honor to have people to reach out to you. But again, I know that he's deep into the animals, you know what I mean? So it's forging those relationships as well. I've always been in there, well, not always, for the last year, I've been in their Patreon, but I don't communicate. So I don't communicate in a lot of, y'all, I don't like chats. I'm old. It's one, you got to give me one chat to focus on. And that's where I've put all of my communication focus.
Right. Especially with so many chats these days. It's crazy to keep up.
So even in Patreons, I'm quiet. I go there for information if I need it.
Yeah. Can you hear us, Steve?
So
Oh,
I just had to. So I just had to come on real quick, Nikki. I'm so glad that you're on here with Mark. I love hearing everything you're saying. We've got nothing but love for you over
absolutely.
here. And that's all I've got. I don't have any questions for you because you don't leave anything unspoken. And just keep being you, sis, because it's more than enough. I just appreciate you,
Thank
Nikki.
you. I appreciate you too. Like again, me and my husband always say when we see Steven passing at the shows, I don't know what happened in life that makes you live your life the way that you do, but damn it, it needs to happen to everybody. I don't care what it is. You are
Well,
the happiest person.
I try. I just want to have fun, dude. I'm old too, but I'm a kid at heart, and I just want to go, and the world's a playground, man. Uh but I just wanted to swoop on real quick and just tell you we love you over here, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Absolutely.
All right. The conductor, are you still there? Are you still having technical difficulties?
He said I'm having technical issues.
Okay. Well, that's fine. We can wrap it up soon, anyways. Is there anything else you want to tell the audience or anything about yourself?
I mean, I just very passionate about the animals. Thank you for everybody who support me. And don't make it hard for me in this reptile community. I do want to say that I am the most genuine, direct, honest person that you ever going to meet, and I am a true Gemini. My birthday is June 12th. I am a true Gemini.
Happy
There is
anniversary.
awesome side of me, and that's the side that I like to give everybody, and so I say that if you see the other side, you deserved it. I really just thanks everybody for the support, my customers, my repeat customers, and it makes it easy. One of the things I didn't want to do, and I don't believe in it, is overproduce specifically reticulated pythons, and I wanted to continue to vet where these animals go. My customer base, the Gettysburg Reptile Show, thanks to that combined, I don't struggle to sell my animals at value. And I appreciate that. And of course, the shows like this, because I'll be at a show and somebody will come up to me and say, hey, I saw you on a retic lounge and I want to get an animal from you. It happens, y'all. So I try to tell people all the time. And although they like y'all know how I feel about it's a lot of podcasts, right? But the ones that I engage with, the ones that I spend time on, when I do get the time, and once these animals are gone, I'll get more time to be on more podcasts all the time, like I normally do. I really do appreciate that type of lead generation, because what type of person I am. I don't have to tell you the story with the expectation that I expect with you keeping my animals. And I never get customers who ask me, can you get it any cheaper? You know the value, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And what you do with the animals and socialize animals and babies, and you're
Yeah.
throwing beautiful animals out in the world.
Yeah, and I can say it. I tell people that, like, I pride myself in being able to say, because sometimes you can ask a person about a retic baby, does it bite and this and like that, and the people respond in ways of saying, well, it's a retic. That doesn't mean anything. I got ball pythons that I know that would bite. My retics are not coming. I'm not shipping them to you if they come biting you out the box. One of the first things that I show people is how they go in the box, and that's how you should be able to take them out.
I did watch a video the other day about a customer that bought one from you, and then they did a whole unboxing video and everything. That was
Okay.
pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Ooh,
I'll send you the link. I don't know if you saw it, but it was really awesome.
okay.
And yeah, all right. I think that's going to wrap up the show, but I do want to have you on for future episodes, and I want to go on your podcast. Do you want to give the viewers any way to follow you or any of that information?
Yep, absolutely. Lady Tiz Exotics on everything. Lady Tiz Exotics on TikTok, where I post most content, honestly, because TikTok people are just so cool. Instagram is Lady Tiz Exotics as well. Facebook is Lady Tiz Exotics, and that's where I post a lot of the animals for, you know what I mean? Like that's where you see them first most of the time. And you also get to see like the animal transitions. That's the only way I post videos of them coming out the egg. Some of that on my personal page too, but like the driver traffic through Lady Tiz Exotics. If you make it over to my actual page, we became friends.
Awesome. Beautiful. I'm going to leave everything down in the descriptions too.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming
Thank
out.
you,
And
Sean.
yeah, can't wait.
Screens, we weave our dreams through YouTube's lens. We see new themes, voices.